Continuing our breaking news coverage tonight, a 6-month-old baby seriously hurt after a hostage situation turns into a tense barricade and then a fire erupting at a home in Surprise.
At the center of this was the baby's father, who allegedly held the mother and the child hostage until she was able to escape. His whereabouts are still unknown at this hour.
Female approached him and asked him to the police. She stated he and her baby were being held hostage by her boyfriend. She appeared to have bruising on her arms. She did state that boyfriend is violent and threatening to kill her and that there were multiple weapons inside the home.
According to police, the man forced his way into the home overnight. The woman escaped hours later, and police say they heard gunfire inside that home, so they forced their way in. That's when they found the 6-month-old child with several gunshot wounds. Things escalated even further later in the day when a fire broke out at that home.
We have team coverage of this tense situation playing out near the 303 and Cactus. And we start with our Nicole Grigg with the very latest information, with police just providing an update. Nicole?
Yeah, just in about the past 10 minutes or so, we are just learning the condition for this infant. We were just told that the infant who was transported to the hospital, those injuries are serious but do not appear to be life-threatening. So some promising news that we can share with you that, a press release just came out in the past 10 minutes. Now, this toddler was shot several times in its lower extremities. Police will not tell us yet if this is a boy or a girl. They also have not given us any details about this mother or the father. But I do want to show you kind of what we're seeing from the ground from my vantage point. You can see there are no longer that smoke cloud. You cannot see the flames anymore, but you can see that this house is a complete loss. So now investigators are waiting to go in to determine if that suspect, what his condition is. Now, I can tell you that police presence is starting to clear. We're starting to see some of those law enforcement officials clear the scene, but it has been such an active scene. Here is what police told us just a short time ago about what those initial officers did when they responded.
When a call came in to 911, our officers were ready to put themselves in that line of fire, in the danger, for the betterment of that young child.
So then hours later, around 3 o'clock, is when our crews were here and we saw large flames because the house was on fire. The fire response was delayed, though, because of how dangerous this situation was here, as we were told that they could not get inside because they said they could hear the suspect was firing rounds inside. And we are learning new details about that hostage situation. We're told that the mother was held hostage for almost 8 hours. That mother, the father of the child, entered that home around 3 o'clock in the morning, and she wasn't able to get out until about 11. What's unclear, though, is what led to this fire. I was able to ask law enforcement officials, was it something that happened inside because of the suspects, or was it because of the police response, whether a flashbang or something ignited during their law enforcement presence? They said that that's just way too soon, that they cannot answer any of those questions yet, but that there will be a full investigation into that. Now, the big question, where is the suspect? Well, again, they believe that the suspect is still inside or contained to that house. They don't think that he escaped their perimeter, but again, they can't get inside until the fire department deems it safe. Now, police are expecting to be out here all night. I can tell you that our Ashley Holden actually was able to get a little closer, so she's kind of on the other side of where that block wall is because the tape is starting to come down. So, Ashley, what can you see from your point of view?
Well, we're getting really the first up-close view of this home that I have seen, and we're going to kind of spin you around here and show you, and you can just see charred wood at the front of this home, but we have seen slowly fire crews kind of cleaning up hoses, and you can see that process taking place right now. You can see that they still have tape up. Now, since I've been out here for hours, I've talked to so many people that saw this fire start and have kind of watched this all play out. I do want to let you know I was just able to talk to a man who was in one of these homes that I'm standing next to when he heard gunfire. And at first, since there's so much construction going on in this area, he at first didn't know what it was, but then he says he came out and he heard that mother yelling, screaming for her baby, terrified, asking for help from, he says, not only those construction workers, but also some people that recently moved into some of these new homes. I also want to let you know, we talked to a woman who was working a little bit farther away, but talks about how some of this was all playing out just as she was driving into work. Take a listen to what she had to say.
It's horrifying. I mean, you're driving to work today at 10 o'clock and knowing that a mom and a small child were possibly being held hostage 100, 200 yards from you is sad.
And so many people thinking of that baby. You just heard an update from Nicole, but we do know from police that they are anticipating giving updates throughout the weekend, and we're going to be out here throughout the night to make sure that we will be asking those follow-up questions, and we'll bring that to you live on ABC 15. For now, live, Ashley Holden, ABC 15, Arizona.
Thank you, Ashley. We want to get to some more breaking news right now. Just coming into the newsroom, you could see from our ADOT cameras, this is a fire burning near the I-10 and Dysart. A fire appears to be burning some trees and in between buildings. We're calling to try to get some information on what exactly is happening here. We do know there is some heavy traffic going on in the westbound on the I-10 in that area, and you would imagine a lot of looky-loos as they pass by and see this dark billowing smoke into the sky. So once we get that information, we will break back in and bring you that.
Yeah, a lot to cover tonight. We also have new information from the breaking news just 24 hours ago. A 3-year-old child remaining in critical condition at this hour after MCSO says the toddler shot himself in the head. This incident took place Thursday afternoon in Mesa. They don't know how the child was able to get the weapon or if anyone was even supervising him at the time. Well, this case remains under investigation. Tonight, we're looking at what parents or adults' responsibilities are when it comes to child safety.
We don't have all the details here, so we should resist the urge to sort of jump to conclusions. But that said, certainly looks bad. Parents have a responsibility to ensure that the children, their children, who they're legally responsible for, are in safe environments. And so if they recklessly permit them to be suffering an injury or in a dangerous situation, or even if they do that with what we call criminal negligence, you could be looking at criminal charges here. And if, unfortunately, if that minor dies, certainly can be looking at a homicide charge. And again, if with criminal negligence, we call that negligent homicide in Arizona.
Again, no further details on how this 3-year-old ended up with a gun. Doctors are doing what they can around the clock to try to save the life of this child. In the West Valley, that 13-year-old who was run over by a school bus near Dysart and Bethany home yesterday is in serious but stable condition at the hospital. The boy was on his bike when he was hit. He was pinned underneath the bus. According to MCSO, no one will be cited nor arrested in this case because there was, quote, no mitigating or aggravating factor that led or caused to this situation.
Not guilty. That's the first of 18 pleas for those accused of attempting to switch Arizona's 2020 electoral votes and give them to then-President Donald Trump. ABC 15's Manuelita Beck gives us a look at the first day in court for what's likely to be a lengthy legal process.
Former Trump attorney John Eastman in Phoenix today.
State of Arizona versus Eastman, time set for the not guilty arraignment.
Pleading not guilty to charges stemming from the 2020 fake elector scheme. Eastman telling reporters after the 3-minute hearing that he would be exonerated.
I had zero communications with the electors in Arizona, zero involvement in any of the election litigation in Arizona or legislative hearings.
He's one of the 12.5 Republicans who are accused of being involved in the fake elector scheme that crossed nationwide and was built on the falsehood that Trump won the election in 2020.
An arraignment on charges that, in my view, should never have been brought. I, of course, pled not guilty.
Eastman is the first of those charged in Arizona to appear in court. Most of the others are expected to be arraigned next week, except for Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani, who so far has avoided a subpoena to appear in Arizona court. For ABC 15's political team, I'm Manuel Tebek.
In case you weren't sure what an elector does or how the Electoral College works, we thought we'd give you a little refresher, especially as we head into what could be another contentious election year. Arizona has 11 electoral votes based off 2020 census data and will be effective for the 2024 and 2028 presidential elections. Why 11? Every state gets a number of votes equal to the number of senators and representatives in Congress. Arizona has 9 congressional districts, and then every state gets 2 electors for the 2 U.S. senators. There's no law that requires the electors to cast their vote according to their state's popular vote. However, that is oftentimes the case. The Electoral College has a total of 558 electors nationwide, and a majority of the 270 is required to win the presidency.
We're dedicated to covering your community with a team of reporters staying on top of what's happening all across the valley and our state. ABC 15's Josh Cristianto is covering Goodyear for us tonight and has a look at a big vote that could shape one of the fastest growing cities in the country.
For Miguel Gonzalez, moving to Goodyear last year was a no-brainer.
I really like Goodyear because it's a clean city, very peaceful place to live.
Like Gonzalez, thousands are taking their cars and moving to the West Valley. Goodyear alone has seen a 15% growth in the past 4 years. The potential is great, but so are the challenges.
Goodyear is only about 12% built out, so our future is development.
Another big issue here in Goodyear, traffic, especially during rush hour at Dysart and McDowell roads.
To address issues facing the city, Goodyear is holding a special all-mail ballot election to update the general plan. The plan gives voters a voice in how city leaders plan for growth and is rehashed every 10 years. A Goodyear retail survey in 2023 showed what residents want most. For grocers, Trader Joe's came in at number 1. Topgolf was top pick as entertainment. For retailers, it was Macy's, and the most desired dining type for residents are non-chain restaurants. We wanted to listen to multiple perspectives around town, and folks like Alejandro Jimenez want more policing.
You know, I have the application next door, and it's always someone stole, something from a car. Somebody broke into a house. So security is a big thing that we need here in Goodyear.
While the city's focusing on building better roads and bringing in more businesses, Gonzalez says more parks and a swimming pool are on his wish list. And there's a Texas-based gas station called Buc-ee's he wants to see. I got to break the news to him.
I got some good news for you, though.
There you go.
Buc-ee's is coming to Goodyear.
No.
They announced like a month or 2 ago, the city. Right?
Oh, my God.
Goodyear residents have till Tuesday to turn in their ballots. Josh Cristianto, ABC 15, Arizona.
Josh granting wishes right there. ABC 15 following up tonight to prepare you for what could be another pretty busy weekend of backups right along the 17. ADOT's going to be closing the northbound lanes just south of Anthem. That starts tomorrow at 10. That goes till 5 on Monday morning. So plan around this. Megan Thompson has a closer look at this closure and some other construction projects here in the valley.
Hey there, Megan Thompson. Want to warn you about those weekend construction projects, especially with those issues on the I-17 that we saw last weekend. The northbound direction is going to be closed this time around from the 303 to the Carefree Highway, the SR-74. This starts at 10 p.m. on Friday night, lasts until 5 a.m. on Monday morning. The frontage road will be your option through this area, so hopefully things will be a little bit easier, but try and beat that closure if you are heading to the high country before 10 p.m. on Friday. The Loop 101 northbound, the Price Freeway between the US 60 and the 206 202, 9 p.m. Friday till 5 a.m. on Monday is going to close down. So instead, you're going to want to use Dobson over Clintock in that northbound direction to make your way through the Tempe area. The US 60 eastbound near I-10 to Mill Avenue will close at 10 p.m. Friday, also lasting through the weekend. This one at 4 a.m. on Monday is when they set to reopen that area. Southern Baseline going to be your options in your eastbound direction. You could also pop north if you're looking for a freeway alternate and use the 202 Red Mountain. Close is going to be the Loop 202, the southbound freeway in that southbound direction. This between Broadway and Southern, 10 p.m. Friday till 4 a.m. on Monday as well. With this one, you'll be detoured onto 51st Avenue to travel in that southbound direction. I-10 eastbound between the 17 and the 51, so the stack and the mini stack will close 9 p.m. Friday till 9 a.m. on Saturday. You're going to detour along the Durango curve, and then you could reconnect with the 10 near Sky Harbor. And then we're going to switch sides. I-10 westbound between the I-17, the split over to 7th Avenue will close 9 p.m. Saturday to 9 a.m. on Sunday. For that one, you'll be detoured on the I-10 westbound to the northbound I-17 to get you over to the stack. I know it's a lot of information, so we posted it online at abc15.com to review as you make those plans.
Thank you, Megan. Arizona cities are growing, but which one tops the list? Our data analyst is going inside the numbers and shows us whether the housing market can keep up.
Plus, high pressure is back. I'm tracking how this will impact your forecast this weekend.
And a heads up, the WNBA Friday Night Spotlight is back. Scripps Sports is bringing you some of the top matchups as one of the most exciting WNBA seasons gets underway. All the action starts at 4 on ION, that's channel 51.1 over the air, or Cox channel 1018.